right, everybody, going live. Hurried and came in here. Just got to the house. So let me adjust our screen just a little bit here. It's just a little bit off. All right, so severe thunderstorm warning's been issued out for Jackson County, and we're going to go check this out here. Radar indicated a severe thunderstorm was located near Scottsboro, moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts to penny-sized hail. Areas impacted will be Bass, Skyline, Martintown, Limb Rock, Long Island, Russell Cave National Monument, Higdon, Fackler, Anderson, and Scottsboro areas. It's going to be due to that bit of damaging wind that was in there, radar indicated, and also you can see it very clearly. Started producing some potentially damaging winds over the northern portion of Marshall County there. Let's take a look at how high those winds were. Let me do a stop here on the radar and back it up. Some 60-plus mile-an-hour winds. Doppler radar is showing 64 miles per hour. That was as it was moving to the north of a spell. Let's track it forward a little bit more. The winds pretty much was a downburst, so that's what you had. I wouldn't be surprised to see some damage in there. Some of those winds could have exceeded 60 miles per hour with this storm here. It was a kind of a downburst scenario is what it looks like to me on the radar. So definitely some high winds with that, damaging winds as it was crossing. Now let's move it forward to the real time here. Let's get it back in real time mode. All right, so the storm is now located just to the west of Scottsboro. Still seeing some high winds, not those 60 pluses that we was just seeing. But, of course, there's still that possibility. Severe thunderstorm warning still out on that storm there until we get this little tool here to go away for a minute so I can check that warning out. And that is until 5:45. So that warning's still up. Some high, potentially gusty to damaging winds possible with that storm as it continues to the northeast. So let me track it with another radar. Let me grab my secondary radar up here. We're going to switch to that. Okay, so let's start tracking it out here. It has weakened a good bit, in fact, a lot. So more than likely right now at this point, Scottsboro's got some high winds. Could exceed 50 miles per hour. That would not surprise me. I'd like to get my aircraft up here shortly and get some shots of this. So I may actually go try to get some shots of it by aircraft. That way I can share it up with everybody. Let's put a track on this. Okay, back it up here. All right, so it looks like it'll be around Hollywood, approximately 8 minutes or less. Fackler around 18 minutes. Wanville in 19 minutes. Of course, it's estimated. Stevenson in 27 minutes. Of course, Stevenson looks like it might miss this right here. It looks like it's kind of south of Stevenson, but there's additional development now on the north portion there of that cell near Stevenson. So still the threat of some high winds, even in Stevenson, heavy rain, lightning, all that. Make sure you take precautions. Stay indoors. Stay away from your phones if they're plugged into the wall, especially. Or if you've got a cell phone and it's plugged into the wall charging, computers, all that, antennas, they can carry electrical charge if lightning was to hit. Of course, that happened this morning. A lady in Marshall County was struck by lightning from using her cell phone. It was plugged into the charging cable into the wall. Lightning hit something nearby, traveled through their electrical system and through the wire to her phone, giving her a pretty bad burn to her hand, but I believe she's all right last time I heard. But she did get a nice burn to her hand from it. So it's not a good idea to be doing any of those things when you've got lightning. It's not a good idea. Anyway, looks like Fabius 28 minutes. Pender Hill 28 minutes. Old Fabius at 29. Newtown 30 minutes. Haynes Crossroads 31 minutes. I really don't think this storm is going to make it that far, really. But we'll take a look at it on the velocity. I'm not looking too impressive right now. Make sure that I'm on the right velocity. That is high res velocity is what I'm looking at. So we still see some high winds. You'll notice that the colors there have changed quite a bit. I'm not seeing those bright white, and the bright white indicates some destructive winds. So as it moved in between Woodville and Espell there, and Highway 72 there, it's going to be, looks like southwest portion of Jackson. There could have been some damaging winds, or likely was in northern portions of Marshall County. Likely some damaging winds associated in there that could have been 60, maybe even a little higher than 60 as it moved across. But right now, not seeing those colors show up. The warning was just moved out a little bit further up. But the Weather Service in Huntsville is still continuing that warning for the threat of some damaging winds. So now the cell's pretty much in Hollywood. That's where the highest of the winds are moving in. It'll be the Hollywood area. That's going to be just the southeast of Skyline. These winds will continue northeast, actually towards Stevenson now. So I had to correct myself there. I was looking at the wrong thing. So Stevenson is actually moving to the northeast towards Stevenson currently. And also, it may make it into Bridgeport, but it looks like it is still weakening. I do still see some peaks in the velocity there, that there could be some damaging winds, and that would be heading more towards Stevenson. But Hollywood, you're also potentially getting some gusty to maybe damaging winds there. Not seeing it on the radar, but that don't mean it ain't possible. So let me clear this out. Wrong tool. Clear that track off of there. If that tool will go away, that'd be great. Okay. So it looks like the highest winds now are in Hollywood. So I'm going to leave this up. Let me get it back on the regular reflectivity. And we'll keep tracking these storms. There's also some strong ones down in DeKalb County. Looks like around, of course, now northeast of Pine Ridge, around Valley Head, Sylvania, getting some high winds, heavy rain, lightning, thunder. Also around, looks like kind of Sandrock, Leesburg area, Galesville. Everything now northeast of Collinsville and just northeast of Powell. That's in the southern portion, southeast portion of DeKalb. Looks like around Lick Skillet, moving off to the northeast. So I'm going to leave this track up, leave the radar up, and going to go out, launch our aircraft, and get some, see what we can find as far as photographs go. We'll see what we can do. First, let me take questions if there is any. All right, so bear with me. We're going to leave this up until warning is out of here, but I'm going to go get the aircraft up, see if we can get any photographs of that. So be right back. We're going to leave it up, and we'll be right back shortly. right, we are back, everybody. Looks like the severe thunderstorm warning has canceled for Jackson County. There is still some special weather statements up. Other than that, let's get that back up. Let's see. So yeah, we do have some special weather statements. Everything pretty much moving out with this round. Of course, we'll continue to watch stuff develop out there. We're going to have multiple rounds of this stuff. Could see some more severe stuff tomorrow. Also Saturday, won't rule it out, but I don't believe that we're quite done with the storms yet. However, we might be. Let's back it up here. So now I'm still seeing some out in Mississippi, so we're going to keep an eye on stuff. See if it's possible for this stuff in Mississippi to make it this far northeast. Looks like it'd be really later on, like probably near 8 o'clock, if that is the case. So we'll keep an eye on things, though. There is still some special weather statements out for some high winds, stuff like that. Wasn't able to get really any good footage because the storms has already passed and they're already pretty far away, so wasn't able to get that much. Still tracking strong thunderstorms near Woodville, or 8 miles west of Scottsboro. It's moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Looks like wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Penny-sized hail possible with that activity. DeKalb County still got some pretty heavy storms there. Valley Head and Hammondville moving off to the northeast, east-northeast. Most of this is currently exiting into Georgia near Menlo, or actually right on top of Menlo, Georgia, going into Summerville, Liverly, and Tryon, Georgia, as well as Lafayette. But other than that, the warning was canceled. So we're going to wrap it up here. Valley Head still got some pretty heavy storms there. Let's look at the chat before I wrap it up here. Wow, so you was watching them blow up sparks. So that, most people don't know that. When you seeing them blow sparks out, if you're seeing transformers and power lines blow them out, it can be several different things. Of course, if the power lines are touching together, then they'll do that. But it takes some damaging winds usually to do that. Transformers explode at 75 mile per hour. So if you're referring to a transformer blowing up, then those winds exceeded 60. We're talking 70, 75 miles per hour. That's what usually takes to blow a transformer, a 75 mile per hour wind. So, would not be surprised at all with the way that looked on the radar. Wouldn't surprise me. So crazy winds at Henniger. Power's out. Wind is bad. Yeah, that was a heck of a downburst. It really was. I'm glad everybody's okay. Yeah, that was due to a downburst. I'll double check. I didn't see nothing on radar that showed anything other than that, but switch it over really quick to another radar. Let's go back to our dual pan radar. We're on storm relative velocity, which shows the wind. Now we're on just velocity. Or no, I told you wrong. This is storm relative velocity, or resolution velocity. We was on a different one. Okay. Yeah, let's get that back up. So yeah, you can really see those damaging winds as they came through. Let's get it back to one pan. So yeah, you guys was just right on the outside of that downburst, if that's what it was, which it does kind of look like that to me, like it might have been a downburst. It looks like the highest winds would have actually started in between Woodville and Espell over in northern Marshall County, northwestern tip of Marshall County, rather, and then moved into Jackson County. So, not seeing nothing tornado-wise, nothing like that. But you could definitely see those damaging winds. So, yeah, that was damaging straight-line winds is what that was. And straight-line winds are very bad. They can do, as much, or in some cases more damage than a tornado, a smaller tornado can. So yeah, the more than likely that was a downburst. I'm almost certain it was by looking at these last radar scans. You notice the storm is really healthy, reducing hail and everything over New Hope. You can see it's pretty healthy. And we do have some departments out checking, or the county does, got some departments out checking for damage and stuff. But as you notice, as this thing gets in between New Hope and Grant, very mean looking little storm here. And move it on forward, it gets close to Woodville. The highest potential for the damaging winds will be right here with this. That's the hail core, so if that adds up, it should start weakening, because this right here should be where the downburst occurs. So we do have a little dramatic weakening with it at this point. So basically what that looks like to me is like a downburst or microburst type scenario, or just downburst. So yeah, it was definitely producing some high winds, and it's looking pretty nasty right now on current radar too. It's really fired back up again. And going across Stevenson, moving to the northeast towards Shiloh. So let's get a different scan up on it. So I do see some gusty winds starting to show up, and a little bit of a updraft where there's probably going to be some hail in there. All right, I noticed we was placed under a mesoscale discussion. So I'm like I said, I didn't think we was done with the storms, and there is a mesoscale discussion in effect. Summary: this was issued out 05-19. That would be goodness, that was out for a little while. It shows, if that's the case, if I'm looking at that correctly. Not really sure if I'm looking at it correctly, but anyway. Sporadic large hail, damaging winds will be possible through the early evening hours from the Arklamis region to the southern Appalachians. Watch issuance not expected. More than likely it was going to be with that system we just had come through. And we're still going to keep an eye on these storms here. Now I need to check something out really quick. Forgive all the tones going crazy in the background. Either that's a pager test or there is damage or something going on from Marshall County. I don't know what's going on with that. They usually don't last that long. All right, so we're going to be keeping an eye on this stuff until at least 8 o'clock and 9, see if there's any additional development, because I really think there is a possibility of more developing, because they have a... Never mind. That was a test. Okay. So we're going to keep an eye on things through at least 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, because there is still the potential for more storms to develop. Still watching strong to severe storms now over in Mississippi. Of course, I'm sure you guys are looking at it too. We're looking at some of that moving off to the northeast. And this, if it keeps on in that direction, which I believe it will, looks like it's tracking off to the northeast, it would eventually move into our area again later on. So we're going to keep an eye on this batch over in Mississippi. It's currently coming in towards Sulligent and Winfield, Alabama. And I know I've got a friend that lives in Sulligent, Alabama, around Vernon and Hamilton. They're about to get this batch here. So we're going to keep an eye on these to see if these make it this far northeast. I'm not so sure that we're done with things. I don't believe we are by looking at the radar here. So we'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching, everybody. I do appreciate it. Let's look at the chat here. Yeah, Flat Rock. So we're going to sit here and keep an eye on all this. Thanks for all the comments. We will keep you updated. No problem, everybody. Just looking through the comments one more time. Yeah, that wind was rough. If you're in Hollywood, I mean, it was rough. That was looked more like a downburst. Straight line winds. Let's just get it to the specifics, to the point. Straight line winds. That's what it looked like. So I wouldn't, like I said, wouldn't be surprised that there was some damage in those areas, especially power out, trees down. A possibility of structural damage. I mean, I won't rule that out by the signature I seen on the radar there. That was a pretty strong punch of wind when it came down. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was not some minor structure damage up through there somewhere. I haven't heard of any, but if anyone else has heard of it, let me know. Pass it along through Messenger. Would appreciate seeing it. If you have damage, post it through Messenger. I would greatly love to see it. Hope your family's safe and all. Those without power, hopefully you'll get it back pretty soon. I'm sure the crews are working very hard to get it back. So let's start and wrap things up here with our sponsor, Mr. Dylan Snyder at Alabama Living Real Estate. You can give him a call at 256-979-4330 for all your real estate needs. Check him out on Facebook. And we also have RKG Automotive Group. They've got some nice vehicles just posted up. I just noticed that. So you guys go check them out if you're looking for a vehicle. They're good prices, nice vehicles, really nice vehicles. Saw one just a minute ago posted up. You can give them a call at 256-323-7323. Also, Dylan Snyder got some nice homes and stuff posted up too. So you might want to check them out on Facebook as well. For sure. So thanks everybody for watching. Gonna wrap things up here at 5:40. Get what footage I did get put up. If you got footage or any damage or anything, send it along to me. And of course, let me know what county you're in, where it was located at, approximately what time it happened. And if you haven't reported it along, I can definitely do that. So thanks again. God bless. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. And stay weather aware, at least until around 9 o'clock, when I believe we get the final round out of here. So we'll start over again tomorrow. I'm sure there's still more chances of showers and storms overnight, but we'll keep an eye on them. So thanks again. Have a good evening, everybody.